Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. Last episode, Data went on a date with Rosa from Subrosian, and they went to the temple and they discovered the Spirit of Summer in the temple. And using the power of the Spirit of Summer, Data was able to have vines grow outside of Dungeon 3 here. And now he's about to explore Dungeon 3, the Poison Moth Lair. Good defense is the best offense against spikes. Maverick already knows that from Oracle of Ages. And if you've played Link's Awakening, you'd also know that they're referring to the spiny enemies that are invincible until you flip them over. If you were Mario, you could shoot with fireballs, but Data don't have fireballs here. He just has his trusty sword. It's gonna get him through a lot of adventures until he gets a second sword. That will be for a while. Pull out that shield. Book. There's a new gimmick there, these trampolines. And we'll see this platform moving back and forth, but it doesn't move all the way. So that's a good clue that we're getting the Rock's Feather in this dungeon. Rock's Feather was introduced in Link's Awakening. It's the feather that allows you to jump one tile. Basically, like places the bridge or the ladder from the first game to cross those one tile gaps. Got another button that we have to push down with a pot. Throw all these pots away. Push this one down. We got a few puzzles that require pushing different things in this dungeon. Adding a few more puzzles to these dungeons. That stairway's where we need to go to progress through the dungeon, but we'll eventually run into a key. Stepping on that block makes the bridge over to the left disappear. So in order to progress through the dungeon, we're going to have to find a way to jump over that block, that button, which is, of course, the Rock's Feather. Oops, almost pushed it from the wrong block. We just keep pushing this over, and then we take a shortcut back by pushing this block. And then we're going to head up to those staircases where I mentioned earlier we have to go. Now, in a throwback to Zelda 1 in Japan on the Famicom system, the Pole's voices didn't like noise there, and there was like a microphone in that game that on the controller that you can blow into, and it would destroy the Pole's voices. So, a little Easter egg there is in this game you can use, and Oracle of Ages, you can use the horn, your animal companion's horn, to destroy the Pole's voices. Which is good, because before that, the only way we were able to destroy them, we saw in Dungeon 2, was to throw bombs at them. And those guys like to bounce around. Like, I used to know, you also throw pots at them, but in that location there was no pots available, so here's the, it looks like a Moth, the bottom floor. A lot of jumping around in this thing. Even before we get the Rock's Feather, we'll be going down floors, but up floors, jumping from floor to floor. So we have 3 reds on the top, 3 purples on the top. You just have to match the way they're set on the bottom. So you're pushing around a little bit. And that'll open up the door. And now we can head on over, deeper into the dungeon. More annoying P-hats. Try to thin their numbers a little bit here. The boss room. It'll be a while until we get there. P-hat. I can't believe these guys are so tough. They take 4 hits. And I think the big mold one, there was the first boss in Link's Awakening. That took 5 hits to defeat. 5 or 6 hits. I think I was 5, but no, I have to go out and look at that Let's Play. But the point is, like, the little tiny ones are almost as tough as the big boss. You don't have to fall down this thing, but I'm gonna get all the treasure chests, so I'll fall down here. This is back on the first floor. If you go to the right, we end up near the beginning of the game, the dungeon. So we're not going to do that. This also gives a little clue of where we need to go. There's a ledge up there that we can't reach. We're going to have to get to that ledge by falling down a hole on the left side of this screen. First we gotta take care of these guys, or at least push them far enough away. We can go into this room here that is kind of annoying. We got this trap. We'll just let these Kirby-looking guys, that's also a games franchise from Nintendo, kind of come around, and they move in the opposite direction that you do. So if you press up, they'll move down. If you press down, they'll move up. Left, they'll move right, and right, they'll move left. So you just have to move around in this safe circle here. I guess it's more like a safe square. And then just get them onto the conveyor belts where they'll be pushed into you. And then you take them out. Opens up the treasure chest, and you get the box feather. Now you can start jumping one tile gaps. You can actually jump larger tile gaps too, if you use the Pegasus seeds to get a running start. But luckily these first few dungeons where you gotta make jumps, they're not going to incorporate that mechanic into it. Although if you played Link's Awakening, you have the Pegasus boots, and you already know there were some jumps in that game that you had to, even the first dungeon that you get the Pegasus boots in, there's a gap that you need to use the Pegasus boots and the rock feather to clear. So there's this gimmick here, these trampolines. You jump and they can push you up to a higher level. If you try to jump on where there is no hole in the floor above you, then you'll just hit the ceiling and come back down. But luckily the game's pretty nice, and it's telling us basically where we need to place the trampoline. Here's a combination rock feather power bracelet. You can choose either way, the north or the south to go. Either way is very difficult. Just gotta push the pillar, I guess it was already a pillar, the roller, out of the way. And then just hop over the spikes when you can, when you're forced to. So you just hit your head on the ceiling, no big deal. I just want to push this over there. You see over to the right there was a little tile. Basically tells us where we need to push the trampoline. We'll hop on up. We'll get another key. Got a sword. And now we'll just be basically heading back to basically the beginning of the dungeon. Back to where we saw that initial platform that was moving back and forth. That had one little gap. So this room takes a lot out of me. This is why I'm not very good at platformers. I miss this jump. Fall in. And mess up here. Now I guess I could use the Pegasus to jump over to that side, and then try to use Pegasus to jump back onto that thing, but I'll just show off what happens if you get squished. You get squished and you lose half a heart and return back to the start. Just avoid this. There we go. And now, like I said, we're back at the beginning here of this platform we saw earlier was. Now that we have the rocks feather, we can head back to that room where I mentioned there was the button you had to jump over. And we can jump over the rocks. Jump over that and then continue on in the dungeon. These floor masters have reappeared. he managed to do without getting picked up by them. Picked up by them in the first dungeon in Seasons, and then also one of the in Maverick got picked up in Oracle of Ages. So we're almost back where that button is. We can now jump over. Dunk. Nope. And if we remember when we found that platform, there was a treasure chest to the north of it on a higher ledge. To get that treasure chest, we gotta basically just take this route here. It only contains a gacha seed, so it's not like you really need it, but I'm getting 100% the game, get all the seeds, so... In water, it is invincible, and that's a clue to the mini-boss, which is kind of annoying. And we get the gacha seed. Yeah, currently we have more seeds or soil uncovered than we had seeds to plant with. But we'll get a few more seeds. Got one here, and then we're going back to Subrosia after this. Remember, there was a whole bunch of holes in Subrosia that we couldn't get past. Now we have the Rock's Feather, and we can get past them there. So like the bird statue said, these guys are invincible in the water. So you just have to use the power bracelet to pick them up out of water, and then hit them a few times, and then they retreat back into the water. And it's really annoying like at first when there's all three of them. As you dwindle their numbers, they get easier. Be careful when they're on land, they jump around a little bit. They hit you. The main issue is the other two. If you're concentrating on one that you have out of the water, the other ones are shooting at you, so you might not get a good chance to wail around your sword with the other. But as you start decreasing the numbers, they get progressively easier. One down, two more to go. In the story that I ended up defeating them. They all kind of fall at the same time. There we go. And games like internally somehow keep track of them, Take them out. And that opens up a portal, and it also opens up a staircase in the lower right. We'll be taking that portal in a little bit. Remember there was that statue at the beginning that told us about defeating the turtles, the spikes? Well, we're gonna... To the left of that one, there was a treasure chest. We're on our way to get that treasure chest. So we're gonna skip the first little hole there. Head over to this one here. And we're basically gonna end up right at the beginning of the dungeon. And that's the treasure chest we gotta get, and gotta avoid that big spike. Push this block. And I forgot which block it was this here to push, but there we go. And now we have the boss key. Now we just head back to the entrance, which is just a few screens away, and there's going to be that warp zone again. Take the warp zone, and that'll put us near the boss. That first hole that we skipped after we took the staircase, after the mini-boss, that's the one that takes us onto the path of the bosses. So it's nice, this warp zone here. Saves a lot of backtracking. This is the first dungeon that's going to have a new boss. The first Legend of Zelda, it had 6 boss-type enemies. Aquamentus and Gleeok were used twice. Gleeok was in level 4 with 2 heads, and then level 8 with 4 heads. And Aquamentus was in dungeons 1 and 7. So they kind of have come up with like new bosses so they didn't have to repeat bosses in this game. And they kind of pulled one from, this is almost like the boss from the 3rd dungeon, the 3rd Dark World dungeon in A Link to the Past. There's that Moth. I mean, this guy, he in a room full of conveyor belts with spikes that move around. He just flies around this room, shoots out little mini moths, and circles around. One thing is the mini moths can drop hearts, so they can take any damage you take and refill. You can defeat him. As if you stay on the bottom there, you shouldn't have a problem with him knocking you down into the hole below. But if you do fall in the hole below, I'll show you what happens. You just end up in a room with a trampoline on it. And just head back up. Now, of course, if you did defeat the boss, you'd have to restart, you know, if you didn't, from fresh health. But you defeat the boss first and he doesn't reappear since you already got his heart container. And we get another essence of nature. The bright sun. And now we can jump. So there's a lot to do between this dungeon and when we go into the next dungeon. It's almost like Link's Awakening, where between the fourth dungeon, between the third and fourth dungeon, that you have so much to do. In Link's Awakening, you had to go to the animal village, find out the wall which was blocking the way. Then you had to go back to the normal village, the first village, get Marin on a date, have her sing to the walrus, then go through the desert, find the key, the fish key. Then you had to go up onto the mountains. Well, first you had to go onto the plains, use the fish key to drain the lake. Then you had to go up into the mountains, climb the mountains a bunch, and find a way to jump down from the top of the mountain into the dried up lake to get to level 4. So there's a little homage to that game. We have a lot to do here. We're going to start by heading to Subrosia. And I started by going to Subrosia first because I had a Gasher seed that I planted here. And I need to pick it up and collect the item. Oh. We got a Gasher nut. What do we got? A potion. And now I'm going to head down to Subrosia. We got a few things to do down there. But the main thing I want to do down there is do that Subrosian. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to do that Subrosian dance to get the Gasher seed there. I'll start building up my Gasher seeds so I can start planting them in those new soils I found. Yeah, with the box feather we can jump around a little bit. Now, I'm going to go a little out of order here, but it'll give us a little bit of an idea of. We're going to head up to the northeast of the temple here. Remember there was that one little bit of lava that we couldn't cross, but now we can jump. The ore is all in chunks, so maybe we can get another essence spears. Nope. We're gathering chunks of ore to melt in furnaces. Because look, there's rock blocking the way. I want to break this ore-filled rock, but it's too hard. A bomb flower can break it, but they aren't in bloom. Some guy down south says he saw one though. So, but we won't be able to access the south for a little bit. We're going to have to find another way to get in Subrosia, the overworld. But there's still some things we can do down here. We're going to go on another date with Rosa, because one of the areas that opens up, thanks to the Vox Feather, is another cave that's locked. And we're going to need her key, of course, to open that cave. Turns out, I guess, Rosa comes equipped with a Vox Feather, because she'll be able to follow us. So you can jump over that hole there. There's another hole over here on the way to the Subrosia dance. And here we are. And I'm just going to do the dance, just off-screen it, until I get the Gasher seed, so. Alright, took me a few tries. I ended up winning 50 ore chunks, but here's the dance where I managed to get that Gasher seed. But best answer today, here's our prize, Gasher seed. Alright, so we're going to head back to the overworld, of course, and plant that, but not before we do the remaining things we want to do here in Subrosia. So that's what we'll do in our next episode. Take care, and I'll see you then. Have a good one. Bye.